Hello and welcome to the Dad and Buried podcast. As always, I am your host, Mike, aka Dad and Buried, he of the dominant social media empire, as they say. You've been calling it an empire a lot lately, and I appreciate that.
I haven't called it that either. In fact, but today, I think we can all agree, it is the Mom and Buried podcast.
First of all,
because it is Mother's Day.
Obviously, Mom and Buried is here. It's a special Mother's Day episode. The last time we did a Mother's Day episode was 2 years ago. Because as we said last week, we hit our 100 episodes last week. This is 101. The last time we did a Mother's Day episode was 2 years ago, and it featured two dads talking about Mother's Day.
Beautiful.
As usual, tons of comments from moms and listeners out there about their Mother's Day experiences. And this time I thought maybe it made sense to bring an actual living, breathing mom on the show so she can complain in person about all the ways I've blown Mother's Day and am currently blowing Mother's Day as you listen to this.
And also, it was Mom's idea and not Dad's. Continue.
To do what?
To do this episode.
Well, I was like, hey, do you have any topics in mind? And she was like, all I've been thinking about for the past 6 months is how you're going to celebrate me on Mother's Day. And I said, okay.
I haven't started thinking about that yet, is what you said. And
well, it was 6 months ago.
You know?
I told my boss.
I
was shocked that it was Mother's Day so soon, and then now every day she reminds me that it's Mother's Day coming up. And by boss, I don't mean wife, although sometimes the two do go hand in hand. So before we get into the topic, I did want to welcome everybody back and thank you for joining us once again. As I said, this is our 101st episode, Monumental Times. I was on the Dad Fiction podcast a couple weeks ago. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that, go for it. She was not there. I would not allow her to be there. They didn't invite her, as a matter of fact, because I'm the one with the empire.
I'm solid.
You're good on that? You don't want to be on the Dad Fiction podcast? It was a good group of guys. We talked a lot about movies. So.
We talked about this last week. Let's move on. This is about me. Let's get back to me.
This is not about you. This is about a lot of the moms who listen.
And all of the moms, but none of the dads. So,
well,
let's do this.
What about dads? Should dads have a Mother's Day? Let's discuss.
They have a Father's Day.
Well, what if there are two dads in a family? What about all the single dads? Should they not? Aren't they moms as well? This is the kind of stuff that happens on social media when you have a day devoted to moms, or you mention Mother's Day. Somebody will be like, "Well, what about single dads? What the fuck about single dads? It doesn't.
They
it's
still
meaningless."
have Father's Day, and both dads in a relationship, if there's two dads, they both get Father's Day. It's not like it's like, wait, say, hey, it's my day. Look, buddy, you can't have it.
Everything I know about two dad households comes from the classic 80s sitcom My Two Dads.
Oh my God, I loved that show.
I loved it too. Really one of the best drunk driving special episodes, because the two dads to show their daughter, was her name Nicole in real life or on the show? Stacey Keenan. Stacey Keenan. No, Nicole Eggert, Charles in Charge. Come on. Not even on my level. So they did an episode where the two dads, Paul Reiser and the other dude, they did an episode where they wanted to show their daughter that it wasn't okay to drink. So they played a video game. They got drunk while playing like a racing video game. And you could see, you can't drive correctly, even on Coleco or whatever they had. Remember Turbo for Coleco came with the steering wheel?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
My brother remembers. We weren't an Atari family. We were all Coleco down the line. Where are my Beam Racer heads?
It's Coleco?
Where are my Beam Racer heads at? Coleco was like Atari.
System?
Yeah, it's fucking great. Hero, he strap on a jetpack. So good. Turbo, so much better than Pole Position.
So low rent. It sounds like the beta tapes or
no. It was like Sega versus Nintendo. Sega was better, and Coleco was better than Atari. I'm not going to get into this. That's the Father's Day episode material.
Yeah,
FYI,
we're talking about My Two Dads.
If they still make Coleco, that's what I want for Father's Day.
Get over yourself. Just say.
Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. I went on Instagram and I asked listeners or the people following me on Instagram, let me hear some of your best and worst stories about Mother's Day, whether it was best or worst gifts, best or worst experiences, all that kind of stuff. And then I brought Mama Buried on so she could share some of her best and worst, leaning on the worst, I'm sure. She likes to give me a lot of shit.
I do like to give you a lot of shit. And I have been trying to think
about some of the worst, but you couldn't come up with any worst. You know what?
Anyway, I've been trying to think about some of them. And
somebody messaged me.
These might inspire some thoughts in here.
Somebody messaged me and said, my worst may be coming up because my husband doesn't seem to know that it's Mother's Day and I'm not going to tell him.
I'm sorry.
Diabolical.
That's amateur move. Just
You should tell him because you want to.
Oh my god!
She
wants. No, and then make him feel so damn bad about it. But you have an epic Mother's Day.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, fine, but what's better, that and getting the epic Mother's Day out of the pre-guilt, telling him a few days before so he recovers in time, or letting him blow it, and then you basically have some shit to hold over him forever. You can lean on that for a long time.
No. But still, for me personally, that would not do it. And we're almost
no, for you personally, what would happen is you would get the epic one because I would recover and feel guilty, and then you would still hold it over my head so you would get both.
Why is this an either-or situation? I mean, people.
Marriage is a prison.
Tips. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening. I'm
going to be vindictive and
spiteful. I'm going to help a brother
out. How to win at marriage with Mom and Barry. Just fucking unbelievable.
We're doing okay. You used to like me a lot.
Jury's out. Let's see where we are at the end of this episode. All right, so when we get back, we'll be talking about best and worst Mother's Day experiences. We'll be right back after this. We are back with the 101st episode of the Dad and Barry
podcast. The Mom and Barry Show!
Bullshit. Mother's Day. It's not even Mother's Day yet. I already hate it. Unbelievable.
The countdown begins.
It's all right. We're doing, please, I haven't been counting down. We're all flustered. We're talking about Mother's Day. I asked people on Instagram, if you watch my stories, if you want to contribute to future episodes, I always ask question about the topic a few days before we record, and I asked people for their best or worst Mother's Day experiences. A lot of moms weighed in. A lot of worsts, because those are the memorable things.
Guess
so what? You know what? We're making memories. That's what the husbands are doing. We're making memories.
You know what? Get it together, gentlemen. Poor women.
Please, the women love it. They love bitching. We're giving you the gift of bitching.
Okay, that's a mass generalization, and also I resent that.
We used to live near Mass General. Fun fact. Anyway, want to remind everybody, first, thanks to everybody who's been tuning in for these 101 episodes. We really appreciate you. You can watch them on YouTube if you want to see what we're wearing, and if I'm wearing a hat this time or not. I'm going to leave that up. It's a surprise. You hate when I wear hats. Caps.
That's not true.
I call them caps if they're ball caps. A lot of people do. And you can watch on YouTube. You subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. Please like, subscribe, and leave a review or a rating if you want, because that's what keeps us going. The feedback from the people that love us, right? And also death threats, which the last time I did a Mother's Day episode, we discussed one of the death threats. We're going to get to that a little bit later. That's a fun nugget to wait for. If you need some last-minute Mother's Day gifts, we have a shop, shop.spreadshirt.com, dad-and-barry. You can get a DILF mug and some other stuff, mostly just the DILF mug, but it's pretty cool.
Why would you get a DILF mug?
You know what? Maybe Mom wants to turn the tables and surprise Dad.
I've gotten you a couple DILF mugs.
Yeah, I know. They've all broken.
Yes, well, you know.
Don't look a gift mug in the mug. Crushing it. All right, so I wanted to get started because there's something you said at the top where I was saying, Mother's Day is not really equal opportunity, right? Dads should be recognized as well. The single dads, the two dads, somebody's got to be the mom, right? So why don't they get recognized? And Yenny Young, she said that her 4-year-old agrees. Her 4-year-old said there should be 2 Father's Day instead of a Mother's Day.
And I'm assuming that 4-year-old does not have 2 dads.
I'm wondering. No,
bonus dad days for
Yenny Young, I could tell by the tone of her message, was disgruntled by this.
Hey. You should ask our kids. You should ask the Hammer if there should be a Father's Day or 2 Mother's Day. Go ahead.
He doesn't even know he has a dad. He just clung to you. He doesn't even know who I am.
He's very, he's my shadow right now. He's real up my butt.
Yeah. So earlier today, we were lying down, taking a break from work for a second, and I lied down and I said, hey, can I get a snuggle buddy? And he said nothing and just snuggled her instead. Just rolled over to snuggle you.
Spiteful little shit, isn't he?
And then I said, come on, just 2 seconds. So then he put his head on me and goes, 1, 2. And then these kids are assholes.
He's diabolical, and also, he takes after you.
Yeah, well, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess. All right, so this came up, I think, this comes up a fair amount, and it definitely remembers, even though it was 2 years ago, I remember this, where a bunch of women...
I want to interject.
What?
Before we get into it, into the nitty-gritty of it,
shit.
I just want to say to all you badass mothers out there, Happy Mother's Day week! if you are listening to this, Mother's Day week
is not a thing.
It's already
Mother's Day week, birthday weeks aren't a thing. Half birthdays aren't a thing.
Oh, do you know it's my half birthday on Wednesday? Cinco de Mom and Buried.
That's not even what it means. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, ladies, happy Mother's Day. Let's bitch
and
about
also
our
you,
husbands.
all you dads out there that don't have a wife in your lives, happy Mother's Day, guys.
Whatever.
Exactly. So, one of the things that came up a lot, and this came up again 2 years ago because it caused quite a lot of controversy, and I guess it happens a lot because, like, at least 5 women messaged in with this, including a Natalie Wingenans, cannot pronounce that, Kelbrett 636. They both said, on my first Mother's Day, my husband didn't do anything because he told me I wasn't his mother. Kelbrett's husband said, "You're not my mom. Why would I get you a gift?" And he's doubled down. He still says that.
Okay. First of all, Natalie, you made it to a second Mother's Day with this SOB?
Well, this one did too.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Hey, do you know what? And this one, this was nice. I don't know whose idea it was, but when I was pregnant with number 1, we celebrated Mother's Day.
I think it was
we had brunch.
idea.
It probably wasn't. I think it was my friend Rory's. She's always looking out.
What do you mean? It was my idea. You have no idea. I'll message her and I'll tell her, even if it was her idea, to tell you it was mine. Happy Mother's Day, baby.
Oh, yeah. Rory is, by the way, the same one who will be in a meme I'll share momentarily.
You're sharing
probably.
a meme about our friend? She's not famous. People won't get it.
No, okay. No, the point being that at one point, Dad and Buried texted or
Jesus.
asked my friend
what? This
Rory.
is not the end of the world. I don't know a lot about flowers.
Hold on. Said, what should I get Mom Buried? And she was like, I don't know, maybe like a nice bottle of wine and her favorite flowers and stuff. What's her favorite
There's no
flowers?
way she came up with the idea to give flowers.
She 1,000,000% did.
Everyone knows to give flowers.
She loves
That's
flowers.
why I don't
though.
give flowers, because
matter.
she expects them, so I don't do it.
The point being, she said in her favorite flowers, and you said, they're pansies, I think, and she responded, there's no fucking way her favorite flowers are pansies.
I knew they started with a P.
Because I should be married to Rory.
I knew they started with a P.
Do you know them yet?
Peonies.
Yeah, last year. First time in history, guys.
It's not the first time in history. It was the first time I got them, because they're hard to find. They're not.
Do you know that they are actually in season, specifically in May?
They're buku bucks.
They're not buku.
Oh, shit.
You're crazy.
My mom just dropped in on the notifications because we're supposed to do FaceTime with her. But guess what? We're FaceTiming with the world.
It's not about you.
Yeah, it's not. What is it? Mother's Day week or something? Hey, break. So I'm shocked. So if I had ever said to you, why would I get you a Mother's Day gift and you're not my mom? Like, I can't even imagine. I would never say that.
I mean, in all honesty, I talk heartbroken. I would cry. I would cry so hard. And this one person, Kelbrett, said their kids were 2 and 4, and he still says, "You're not my mom." First of all, what are a 2 and a 4-year-old going to pull off? Right? Dad has to
that's on them. You know what? To be honest,
Yeah.
Kelbrett, that's on your kids. If they can't hack a Mother's Day gift, my kids are 10 and 5, and I still struggle to get them involved.
Yeah, right?
This year I'm working on it, though.
Oh,
We'll see.
good,
We'll
good.
see.
I'm excited.
We're going to talk about what you look for in Mother's Day a little bit later. But please chime in on some of these other subcategories, right? So the next one I broke it into was worst experiences, right? So we got a couple of big ones from the top. So Mrs. Flores 4JS says, my second Mother's Day Eve, I spent the entire night in the ER with my sick toddler while my husband went to a bachelor party.
Okay, see, when I hear the toddler part, I'm like, that's kind of like the just karma shit that happens because you're a mom and like you want it to all be perfect and everything. But so the sick toddler part, I'm like, oh, of course that happens. But you kind of lost me when your husband's at a bachelor party.
But I got to assume he was already at the bachelor party when the kid got sick. It's not like the kid got sick and he's like, okay, honey, I got to go to the strip club. But who knows? Who knows?
Hey, ladies, let me give you a pro tip. You do not have to celebrate Mother's Day exactly on Mother's Day. You can just delay it a day or a few days or the following weekend.
That's not what Hallmark says.
And you do it then.
Look,
because you do it. It doesn't matter. You're working.
If you want to incur the wrath of big greeting card, be my guest. So she goes on to say she woke up on Mother's Day to an extremely hungover husband, passed out in the bathroom hugging the toilet, and $100 and $1 bills next to a note in the kitchen that read, here's some money to go do something with yourself. It's been 14 years since that Mother's Day, and I still give him shit for it. I assume over the phone in their separate homes because they are now divorced.
No, but, props to the husband, though, that's $100
he could have spent on like a lap dance. Yeah, you know what?
Clearly.
Look at you, looking at the bright side. Give the guy some credit. He had some restraint, and he was like, I'm not going to use these for a lap dance. I'm going to give these to my wife, and she can go to Chippendales if she wants. Is Chippendales still a thing?
God, strip clubs, like male strip clubs, seem weirder to me than female strip clubs.
Not a strip club guy, male or female. We can get into that on another episode.
Well, that could be next week's topic.
There's no reason. I didn't have like a really bad experience. I mean, I've had bad experiences at them, but that's not why I stopped. We're not getting into that.
Yeah,
Frosty Kate said, my worst Mother's Day was when I went to pick up my boys, then aged 3.5 and 1, from their dad's house on Mother's Day because they were already separated. And I learned that was the first time that they had met the woman he had cheated on her with. So she goes on Mother's Day to pick up her kids, and he chose Mother's Day weekend to introduce the kids.
And guys,
to his new girl.
The youngest is 1.
Yeah.
1.
As far as he knows, that's his mom.
Let's do the math here.
Okay. No, we don't need to get into that.
No.
He could have been 1 and 11 months. You don't know the details.
Fuck that
So
guy.
the new mommy walked out holding the youngest one's hand. She said, we had separated, but man, did I lose it. So I wonder what she got him for Father's Day. A month or 2 later. What do you think?
Murder?
A restraining order? A hitman? All right. So Shell Wyatt says, the worst Mother's Day is when my husband books a fishing trip. Oh, yeah. That's every year. Okay. So I can understand maybe like it's like February and you're like, oh, me and the boys, let's plan a weekend. And you plan a fishing trip. And then it comes along and you realize, oh, shit. Like your wife tells you that's Mother's Day and you're disappointed. But to do it every year, Mother's Day isn't the same day every year. So he must be targeting the weekend. Let's make sure it's the second Sunday of every May. Is that true?
Well, maybe.
I think it is. Second Sunday of every May, I'm going to be fishing. You know what? He gets out of a lot of business. If she hasn't like dropped the hammer and stopped that from happening, you know what? After a while, that's on you, Shell. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, so far, these guys are making you look pretty good, Dad and Barry.
Well, let's see. But this is like Yelp, right? Where it's like,
right.
You either the only people who leave reviews on Yelp are either unbelievably pleased or unbelievably disgruntled, and it's usually people who are really upset and they had a really bad experience. Those are the memorable ones. Like I said, we're giving you women the gift of memories. You're welcome. All right.
No, but good memories. You're off.
So this guy, he's been doing it for years and booking a fishing trip on Mother's Day weekend, or on that day. Who knows? Maybe he just gets up 5 a.m. to get out of Dodge without even leaving any like stripper dollar bills for her.
And don't even take the kids? What the fuck?
But a lot of people, how do you know? Maybe he does. Maybe that's the boys he goes with. A lot of people said that their husbands just consistently forgot or forget that it's Mother's Day. And I would say if there were a year to do that, like this year, or maybe even last year.
Last year, especially, we were like most people were still in like total lockdown mode. Like we obviously didn't leave.
Well, somebody said that last year we didn't do anything because everything was closed, and she was like, "I just cooked food for everybody." Well, her husband slept in. So again, you can do little things we did a little brunch thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Was quite lovely.
But I will say that like, especially like in the age of streaming, where there's no like commercials, you're not seeing commercials for like. I guess you're on the internet, you're seeing ads and stuff, but if you're not seeing commercials for like Mother's Day, call your mom, 1-800-COLLECT, remember those things? 10-10, 230 and all that kind of shit. Or greeting cards. Weren't there Mother's Day commercials? Nowadays. Maybe there'd be a Mother's Day episode of Roseanne that would make you remember. Nowadays, nope.
But you know what though? At the same time, I was about to say about in the age of social media and iPhones where like, you're constantly seeing things everywhere. You get served ads. You're on social media. You pick up your phone every day. It says Mother's Day on your calendar.
I'm trying to help these guys out. And she's just shutting me down every time. I'm giving them a little leeway, and you're like, no thanks. All right. So here's a handful of really funny bad experiences where Mother's Day was recognized, but things didn't go well. Megan Glitterman says, my 8-year-old kid had liquid diarrhea in bed while my husband was traveling. Is there? Can you have non-liquid diarrhea? I guess. It's going to be sludgy.
We don't need to get into that. But yes,
that sucks. But that's just the luck of the draw.
One of those,
you shouldn't have kids, really. Because you're going to deal with diarrhea and puke and stuff. What? It wasn't personal. Get mad at me about it.
I'm just saying like...
Look, if you don't have kids, you can't have a bad Mother's Day. Life hack. Sail Ender says, a dead baby bird fell out of the tree and landed next to my plate of barbecue.
It seems like an ominous sign.
It sounds like that baby bird did not wish his bird mommy a happy Mother's Day, and she was not going to stand. Wow. Wow.
I did that earlier to Munch. And he's like, what's that mean? I'm like, no,
I got kicked out of chemistry class in high school for making a similar noise. Who's grunting back there? MRWH487 says, best and worst, same experience. She was 4 days late and in labor for 2 days to have her first kid on Mother's Day. So I think if you had your kid on Mother's Day, you would be like, oh, isn't that wonderful?
I think I have a friend whose kid sometimes falls on Mother's Day. It's pretty sweet. You know, those kind of things, you know.
Whose kid's birthday sometimes, yeah. But again, it's not the same day every year, so. But still, what a memory, you know?
It is. I mean, I was in labor a couple days around my anniversary.
In the middle of, right around your anniversary, and in the middle of January. Spoiler alert, what? Shelby Elise 7 says she spent her first Mother's Day in the hospital because her son ate glass from her phone. That's a worse reason to be in the hospital. Wow, so what happened? The phone must have like fallen and shattered,
well, it was shattered,
and the kid was like, that looks good.
You know, like when people were walking around with like the screen is like that for a while.
Yeah.
Like our kid, I think, got a little glass in his finger. You know, he's fine.
Just don't eat
but
you're
it. Like, here, still play Roblox and leave me alone. Thank you.
Yeah, right. As long as you don't swallow it. Cooper's dad, 29, so this is the dad we heard from. He says, we waited 2 hours for our food and ended up taking my wife and son to McDonald's for brunch. You wouldn't stand for McDonald's for Mother's Day brunch or any brunch. Or
I think in that situation, I would be, and we don't go to brunch normally at all. And
or really to McDonald's.
Definitely since kids. Brunch used to be.
Would you get like filet of fish for a McDonald's brunch?
I would not.
What would you get? If you had to have brunch at McDonald's, what would be your choice? I'm going Big Mac every time. But put the fries inside it. What do you got? It's like Primanti's. Is that how it's pronounced? Primanti's, that Pittsburgh chain. You just stare at me when I go on these random tangents. You got to give me something to work with here.
No, okay. So I was thinking fries. That's the only edible thing for McDonald's.
That's not true. It's all edible. It's just all is quickly outable too when you get home.
Gross.
All right, so
there's a lot of poop talk in the Mother's Day episode.
There was last time too, or 2 weeks ago. Squeegee Bo said she had a bad Mother's Day where she was forced to go hiking with her mother-in-law and tiny baby because that's what she wanted to do on her day. So how would you feel if my mom commandeered your Mother's Day? Like, lady, you've had 40 of these things.
I think your mom totally deserves Mother's Day, and that's awesome, and she should do
love you,
things.
Mom. Sorry about FaceTime tonight.
Yeah, we love her. And, but at the same time, I do remember, like, maybe the first one or the second one, it coming up, possibly going to Grandma's house for Mother's Day, and being like,
no.
The fuck no. Because realize that, like, she's not right down the street. It's not like we can have dinner with Mom and, you know.
The weekend becomes about the visit to Grandma's.
Then it's just like, we're going to Grandma's for the weekend. And I'm like, no, I want to do what I want to do. Not, like, be stuck in the middle of Connecticut. Please.
You know what?
No,
it's not even the middle.
I'm
not from the middle, okay? We don't truck with Hartford around here. All right. Tina Girl says her worst was surgery to repair a hernia that she developed during pregnancy when carrying toddlers. So that's a real fuck to the old man, right? That sucks because you have Mother's Day and then your gift is hernia surgery. I was just quoting a movie as usual. Moms for Real NJ says every year is a shit show. Kids act up, and hubby usually does too. So I would like to get into this a little bit. I wrote a few years ago when our first kid was just 2. I wrote a piece for my blog that was like a letter to my kid, being like, "You don't have any responsibilities. You don't have to get gifts. You don't have to do anything. You just can't be an asshole. When we go to brunch, no fits, no screaming, eat or sleep, whatever. Just don't be a punk." And it never fails. Like, they just can sense fear. They can sense the time. And, like, you're on edge or you're committing. Like, we're going to have a great day, all this shit. And they just rebel against it. And they're just like, fuck, no, you're not.
You know, and I think, like, a lot of people would agree, like, holidays and things in general where there's, like, you know, more going on. Or they just do sense. And they are their worst possible selves. Yeah. Like, a lot of the time. And
whether it's on purpose or they just respond to, like, the pressure and the anxiety that they're feeling in the air.
And a million things. But I don't... You keep bringing up brunch. I don't remember going to a lot of brunches for Mother's Day. We're really good.
We lived in Raleigh. We went to brunch once.
Okay.
We lived in Raleigh for 16 months. We had only one Mother's Day there, I think. And we went to brunch. It was lovely. I think.
Wait, where at?
Some outdoor place.
Okay.
I don't remember the names of restaurants. Raleigh Times. I remember that one. All right.
Shout out to Raleigh.
Mbox04 says, the worst was they did nothing. Like, nothing. Said the best was when my husband sent me off with friends. So, I wanted to get into, I guess we can do it now, the kind of thing that you want for Mother's Day. And there are a lot of moms who are like, leave me alone. Or someone here said, I just don't want to have to cook. Deb Terp06 says, the only thing I want is to not have to cook. A lot of women are like, give me a hotel room for a night.
Yeah, I don't want to cook. Like, there was a Mother's Day episode of, like, I don't know, some celebrity or something. Or Chrissy Teigen maybe did a Mother's Day episode of what cooking the favorite, like, meal. And I'm like, what the fuck are you cooking? First of all, you have tons of help.
Yeah, right.
Second of all,
maybe she just enjoys cooking.
Yeah, no, she does. Like, she's known for it. But beyond that, like, what you're probably going to say is, like, there's actually a meme going around right now. Talking about memes, if you're on
we
Instagram.
love telling memes over the over the
it
radio.
Translates so well.
I'm good at it. Let's see how you do.
No, but talking about how, like, on Father's Day, fathers are like, let's all get together, let's go do something as a family, do. And mothers are like, don't touch me, don't be here, I don't want to be with any of you people. And in our house, that's different. First of all, Dad and Barry never wants to do anything with his family or just anything in general ever.
It's a kernel of truth.
And he'd probably be the one more prone to wanting to have it. But I want to be with my family on Mother's Day.
You love being with the fam on Mother's Day.
Although expectation is the enemy of the good, because sometimes, you know, you do want it to be special and relaxing and da-da-da. And the kids do act up. And they still are. It's still special. It's still awesome. But,
by the end of it, you're like, I should have just done something alone.
I should have not stayed here with you people. Fucking monsters.
So that is what I wanted to bring up, because a lot of women are like, you know, for the husband to take the kids and leave me alone, or for me to go off with like a friend, or to go have a hotel room for a night by myself. But you would much rather like us go out to dinner at some point that weekend.
Yeah.
And then us to do something with the kids.
As Dad and Barry will tell you, like, I always want date nights. They're hard to come by. They're real friggin' expensive.
Well,
before there was a pandemic.
You're really picky on the Tinder. You keep swiping left. You got to swipe right to find the right kind of date night.
No. But then I also want the time with the kids. But you know what? If you want to layer it in, I could also deal with a night by myself in a hotel room.
If I want to layer it in.
So, you know, we could just bake this cake, a triple layer cake. Me time, us time, kid time. You know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Done.
There's only so much time.
Mother's Day,
First of all, it's one day. I thought it was
weekend.
It's unbelievable. Just all these freaking holidays just keep getting longer and longer and longer. All right, so here's some of the worst gifts that people got. Angie Banji, that's 3 N's in both sides of that, got a trash can for her first Mother's Day.
Beautiful.
It's touching. No, was it like a trash can with her favorite team on it or something?
Or like Simple Human? That's a $100 trash can right there. We're talking.
So wait, you would be happy with a $100?
No, I would be livid.
Because I'll just re-gift you the one that we have in the kitchen.
That one's real gross now.
Well, it's a trash can. What do you want it? It's like having a vomit bowl.
Okay.
Guess what? It's dirty.
Pete's not here. We don't have to talk about vomit bowls today.
Dana, a bunch of underscores, car, got an exercise bike. In your face,
and
Dana?
How did she take that?
I don't know. She doesn't say. But remember when that Peloton commercial came out last year or 2 years ago about the woman whose husband gives her a Peloton?
People flipped out.
People made a whole backstory for this woman, like she was being held captive and it was borderline abusive, or only a potentially abusive husband would give his clearly slim wife a Peloton and be like, get on that fucking thing, you're not living up to my standards, that kind of thing. This was all stuff people projected on.
Can I be honest? I was not that offended by this commercial. I mean, Pelotons are mad expensive.
I'm offended by how expensive Pelotons are.
That's
so to buy the equipment and then there's a subscription.
It's insane. It's like a whole thing. I'm still mildly interested. Dad and Barry told me he was going to get me elliptical for my birthday last November.
You know what?
There's no elliptical. I'm just saying.
This is not.
I'm observing.
This is not the trash Dad and Buried episode.
No, it just happened to come up. Organically.
So mama.jenny.rn says she got a roaster to use for the following Thanksgiving's turkey. It's like getting like a blender.
She didn't want
or like
a roaster.
A vacuum.
Some of these things, and this is the saddest thing. Guys, I used to be fabulous.
She has a lot of boas that are in storage.
I do have, and so many sequins. Anyway, I have a fabulous life.
But here's the thing.
Like a year or two ago, I just desperately wanted a Dyson vacuum. Yeah. Who am I? I hate myself.
You know what? I made it happen. How about that? I made the Dyson happen.
That thing's a piece of shit, by the way.
You know what? If we want Dyson to sponsor us, maybe we should. It's a great vacuum. Let's be honest.
No, let's go for Shark. Shark, call us.
No, they're not as good.
No, I heard good things.
Well, you know
anyway, doesn't matter. People are going to start giving us like vacuum wrecks. That's not the point.
We don't want vacuum wrecks, but that does lead me.
But I would much prefer a Peloton over a roaster. And if you're still shopping.
So that does lead me to a question, though. So, is there any gift occasion where getting a gift that is like something somebody needs or will be useful for that person? Not necessarily for like the family, right? Because you do want it to be a little bit personalized. But is that ever okay? Or if it's a gift situation, is it always got to be something almost superfluous and just for kicks or for fun or something, a luxury item?
I mean, that's the preferred, but let's be honest. Think about even each other in the last 5 years, especially when all the romantic gifts kind of went out the window and stuff, and people ran out of ideas, pandemics happened and everything. It'll be like, hey, you really need a new coat. I'm going to buy you a really nice $100 coat. But it's not like I'm dying for some coat or $200 coat. It's like, just
it doubles as
you need it.
It doubles as like a useful thing and a gift.
And I know I do that for you too a lot of times.
But I think ideally, if we were rich, we would just get the useful stuff on a Tuesday. And the gifts would be like cars with bows on them and like 6 days, 7 nights.
Those cars with bows are great. I would like the car with Fiji.
Fiji. What did I say? Fuji? It's a camera company.
Doesn't matter.
Reach out.
I will take Fiji. Is that my surprise?
If anybody has like a timeshare in Fiji that we can use.
And a private plane would be nice.
Private jet, not just a plane. I want to be the only people on it.
It's a difference. Doesn't matter. Experiences are my favorite gifts. Trips to Europe, really high on the list.
Experiences first, trips to Europe second.
Well, trips to Europe are an experience.
What did we say last week or 2 weeks ago?
These are the kind of things that I really want.
Champagne taste beer pocketbook.
Yeah, I know, but see, that's how I grew up. Then I married you and thought it was going to change.
Nope, still beer. Still a beer pocketbook. Better beer.
Craft beer.
Better beer, yes. Thank you. Okay. I deserve a little bit of credit.
But I'm still a champagne kind of gal, Dad and Varied.
So one thing I did want to bring up, the 2 more sections, but before we get it, so another blogging mother says, my 5-year-old brought home one of those My Mom questionnaires that like they'll do at preschool or kindergarten or elementary school. And apparently she says, he loves me because I give him dessert, right? So like, why do you love your mom? And you can write something in. And he said, she gives me dessert. And then it was like, what does your mom say? And he wrote in, let's go, which she did not appreciate. Because I can just, in my house, I can just picture Mom and Barry standing at the door going, let's go. So apparently that's probably what another blogging mother's kid thinks.
Yeah, right. No, like those kids can do incriminating things. I do love those questionnaires. And I straight up told you last year, especially it was like Pandemic Mother's Day, being like, hey, make this shit happen. And you didn't have the advantage of like preschool and don't really again.
But I did it.
And then Hammer's at a really sweet age where he should be making me macaroni necklaces. When Detective
I don't have
Munch
a kern.
gave me
Is that how you make like ceramic ashtrays? Do you want one of those? That's what we used to make when we were kids.
It's not called a kern.
No, a kern is like the oven you use for pottery.
That's also not what it is.
What is it? Kiln?
Kiln, thank you.
Close enough. What's a kern? Kerning.
But I remember when Munch was 3, he made me a macaroni necklace, and I just legit cried. It was like so
because it was so terrible.
Awesome. It's so
the craftsmanship
sweet.
Is trash.
And it was
why would you use ziti? You got to use penne.
Would you stop talking over me? It's Mom and Barry podcast.
No, it is not, and it never will be. But continue.
And it was very sweet, and it was like this whole. And I bet a lot of moms can, relate. Like it was this whole like welcome to the mom club. Especially he was young. It was so sweet. I'm kind of bummed out because the hammer has been preschool age for the last 2 years, right? Like,
yes.
Last Mother's Day and this Mother's Day. Like, the key ones where he's old enough to do things, right? Where he's, like, pre-K and, like, whatever. And they would do such cool projects if he was in school, but he's still remote because... Fuck you, pandemic.
Well, you're
and
his
so
teacher
I can't
now.
even get a Yeah, and also
Why
I'm the
don't you make
teacher.
yourself a macaroni necklace?
Not the same.
So what I think is funny, it was like my entry into the mom club where like my 3-year-old came up to me and said, here's some trash. And you're like, oh, I love it so much. I wrote a blog post about this years ago where my kid could rip up a fucking dandelion and give it to her, and she'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I could walk in with a diamond necklace. She'd be like, I need experiences. I will take the bauble, but I need experiences because that's what means more to me.
Oh my God, am I getting diamonds?
No, you're not. God damn it, I keep digging myself.
I actually really do want diamond earrings. Yeah, I have.
Swarovski, if you...
That's not diamond.
Swarovski, isn't it?
Tiffany, sponsor us.
Okay. Yeah, they need all the help they can get. So I wanted to ask, because a big part of Mother's Day, obviously because it's Mother's Day, is getting the kids involved one way or another. And I'm not good at like crafts. I'm not good at relating to my children or parenting. So it's hard for me to like corral them and do something. I have a little something planned gift-wise this year that involves the kids. I'm not going to spoil it. It's not Tiffany's.
Because they're
or Europe. He couldn't... I had Munch looking at what is the kayak to try to find good flights, but he blew it. He couldn't find a good flight to like Turkey or something.
I'll give him some tips.
Turkey's not in Europe, by the way.
Okay.
I know that, okay?
Wow, look at you.
I got kicked out of chemistry class.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
Hey. I'm proud of you. And you said you didn't want to be on that Dad Fiction podcast. Their whole font is a Pulp Fiction thing.
I love Pulp Fiction, except for the last like 45 minutes.
What does that mean? Weird. The last 45? What's weird? The
Once
Bruce
the
Willis
gimp
part
comes
weird?
into
Oh
it,
my God!
Who
Who doesn't like the gimp portion?
Who doesn't like the gimp portion?
Everyone. It's iconic. I'm gonna get medieval on his ass.
Back to the Mom and Barry
Anyway,
podcast.
that awkward silence was brought to you by the gimp. So, but you will give the kids the benefit of the doubt, and you won't give the husband anything. Like, if one of the kids had to go to a bachelor party and woke up and gave you a bunch of stripper dollar bills, you would fucking think it was the cutest thing in the world. But I do it, and suddenly I'm some kind of scumbag. The double standards.
If somehow our kids got to a strip joint, I'm going to assume you were involved, and then you are definitely the scumbag.
The double standards. Okay, so we talked about what some bad gifts. Have I ever given like a really bad gift?
On Mother's Day or just in general?
No, on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day.
You don't remember anything.
We don't give like very big gifts. It's like some sentimental
I don't remember ever getting a thing
Day.
on Mother's Day. Fucking bullshit.
That's accurate. You do not get shit.
How about have I ever done anything particularly good?
On Mother's Day?
Yes. Or ever, you know.
Last year, actually, it was a pandemic. I had just gotten over a month of isolation. Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect, like, anything. I mean, there have been Mother's Days where we've done not much at all. Like, you know, Mother's Day and holidays in this house in general sometimes will be like, okay, well, you get to pick what movie we're watching this weekend, and you get to pick...
Goonies or Breakfast Club. Exactly. I guarantee that's happening on Sunday night.
Goonies. Not Sunday night. Can't that be more special? We always go on a date, almost always for it. But otherwise, no, it's pretty low-key. So last year, I will say, Dad and Buried, like, I was very delighted. He had gotten a whole brunch package. And we were stuck in the house. I had just gotten over being sick. I mean, we ate in the backyard, but this whole brunch package, from who was it from?
It was from Chef's Warehouse, and they're like a service that delivers, they cater and give food and supplies to like high-end restaurants and stuff. And I worked out a collaboration with them where they gave me supplies for Mother's Day brunch. I don't know if you were following me at this time last year, but it was insane because they brought over like a pallet full of boxes. We had like
crepes. We had crepes for months.
We still have some crepes. Legit. They gave us a jug, like a legit jug of maple syrup, like a gallon of it.
It was so good too. Maple syrup went bad though.
A ton of croissants, some gourmet steaks. Oh my God, like 12 dozen eggs. We ended up giving away half of this stuff to like local shelters. It was during the beginning of the pandemic.
And so we did stuff with shelters, and we made sandwiches and stuff out of some of the supplies and donated.
But it was amazing, like the size of the spread, and we had a nice.
And I woke up that morning. You were up before me and actually like cooking, which is not a thing that he does.
I'm not a good cook. I've got a lot of skills.
So that was lovely. And my friend Gila Pfeffer from she's on Instagram. She's awesome. She had sent me a nice bottle of champagne when I was sick to like celebrate. Mm-hmm. You usually do give me champagne. Oh, and you finally got fucking peonies right. I mean, at that point it was like
it's over. But this is the problem.
Beautiful peonies though.
So years and years ago, when we were first dating, I got her like the ultimate Christmas gift. But when we first started to get to know each other, she was sending around one of those stupid like email questionnaires used to go around where you like talk about who was your crush in third grade and your favorite teacher and, you know, where did you go on vacation and all this shit. And one of the questions was, what was the one gift you always wanted but never got? And it was a fucking sit and spin. And months later, for Christmas, our first Christmas when we were a couple, I bought her a sit and spin. It fucking blew her mind.
Really cool.
And all it did was set her and she and I up for the next 20 years of disappointing Christmas gifts where I never came up with anything quite as special or romantic.
Well, no, when Munch was like 3, you had taken a photo that I really loved. He was 2.
Oh, yeah, that was
on the beach and framed it. And that was another astonishing gift. See, the thing is early on in the relationship, my darling, you were much more romantic. This is a separate episode. You were much better about that stuff, and you put more effort into it.
I'm a lot more stressed out now. We have a lot of children.
Do you know what is a really good stress release?
A massage.
Showering your wife in gifts.
No, it's not. Who's that a release for? Anyway,
no, wait, hold on.
So this is what happened with our Mother's Day, where I got her she had such a great Mother's Day last year under pretty shitty circumstances, having just come out of isolation and all that shit. Now I can't win. So why even try?
Let's actually talk about this Mother's Day. I do not know what happens. But now, first of all, I will say, we usually just note Mother's Day. We go on a date, almost always. And we don't do big gifts. Little sentimental things are sweet.
It all adds up, folks.
Huge.
Gift, dinner, babysitter, gifts.
Yeah, life is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, we haven't been paying for a babysitter for over a year. And finally, our babysitter's back in action because yay, vaccinations. Knock on wood, yay, science. So maybe we can we're still just doing outdoor dinners, by the way.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing about this Mother's Day, actually.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know what's coming. It's a few days away, counting down. What is it, like 5? I wrote it on the calendar a couple weeks ago.
We're recording this on Monday.
I counted down for, like, and you've been asking me for weeks, like, when's Mother's Day? When's Mother's Day? So anyway, one thing I do want for Mother's Day is to get the fuck out of this house. Like brunch in this house, anything in this house. I want to set this place on fire after a year of being here all the time.
I got you an arsonist for Mother's Day.
You mean our 5-year-old?
Yes. I got it for you 5 years ago, but he's finally of age where he can use his opposable thumbs. So, Can I say how much anxiety giving you gifts gives me?
Yes, I know it does. I don't know why.
What do you mean? You have really high expectations.
I don't even have that high of expectations. I do expect something to occur, yes. Like, now, don't you come around here with no damn trash cans. I don't know. Or the person who's like, they didn't do anything for, fuck those people.
No, but see, here's the thing. If I feel like I've nailed a gift, I also have to have some kind of like event or restaurant planning. And I'm not good at planning shit. She's very good at it. And she gets upset if I choose the wrong place or something like that. It's just a very tough situation to be in.
I don't really get that upset. Like,
you just know better than I do the kind of places you want to go because you do a lot of research just throughout the year. So you have like a short list and you won't give it to me because I need to know what you want. Like, that's the trick that women play. I don't want to tell you what I want. You should know me well enough.
Well, here's the thing. I have not done any research on restaurants in New York. First of all, half of them, like lately.
Most of them are closed.
A lot of them are closed. And we're being very cautious still. We know outdoor is the only dining we've done in the last year. And again, that's what we want this weekend. But here's the thing. Like, it's not about necessarily even where we end up. But earlier tonight, for instance, fans at home, we were talking and I was like, talking to the sitter. I was like trying to confirm what day for the sitter. And then I was like, oh, but do we have like any, like to decide what day and stuff? Be like, well, do we have any like specific plans, like time frames to work around, da 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 da. Because I do know Dad and Barry had been, he's shaking his head. You can't see it if you're listening to a podcast. But he's shaking his head no, because no, he does not. Which is hilarious. I don't mean hilarious when I say hilarious.
I can tell. I can tell. I knew.
Because we had talked about, like, I even said, like, oh, I want to do, like, brunch or something. Like, I've definitely made clear I don't remember her saying the brunch.
I knew we wanted to do date night.
Yeah, no, and you even said, like, well, what are some brunch restaurants around here? And I'm like, I don't really know. And then he said, I'll look into it, which, by the way, is Dad and Barry code for I don't want to deal with this shit right now. Let's not talk about it, but I'm never going to look into it ever again.
I think this is the Mom and Barry podcast. What is happening? I'm getting fucking obliterated.
No, so then there was that. And then but then you were like, oh, I knew we were going on a date. So, Pumpkin, where are we going on our date?
I don't know.
Do tell me.
A lot of places are closed, folks. This is a pandemic. You still got to be cautious out there.
There are definitely places that are open, as we're aware. This is New York City. And our neighborhood, for instance, has some lovely restaurants and the lowest pandemic rate right now in the city because of they have the highest vaccination rate. Yay, New York!
Let's not be cavalier about this, okay? Let's take it slow. Be careful. We'll figure something out. You and me.
We'll figure something out. All
right, so. We'll go into the aftermath of this the next time we have a podcast together, whether that's from separate homes or not. But one last thing I wanted to talk about. So I alluded to a death threat that I got the last time we talked about Mother's Day. And it wasn't quite Mother's Day that we had talked about, but it was... we have an exchange on Twitter, on text that I shared once as an Instagram post about your disdain for moms who only have dogs.
Yeah.
And we're getting like Happy Mother's Day cards or expected Mother's Day gifts.
Well, I think it was
as dog moms or pet moms.
It was specifically because I did not know this was a thing, and I was seeing posts about like, what about the pet moms and dog moms, and
there's plant moms now too. People talk about.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, like get a pet mom day if you want one.
There is one. I don't know that there always was one, but it came up when I was doing that because we post about that and people get very, very angry. And your comment was a private text that I made public. I put her on blast, and you were like,
comment?
I said something about like, it's National Pet Moms, or no, you saw a card.
Like, card.
You sent me an image of the card and you said, like, fuck this. If you're not up in the middle of the night with the pet chewing on your nipples. It was very graphic.
I may have been hormonal and breastfeeding. And,
it was only a couple of months after the hammer was born.
No, I was just like, fuck this. He had colic. He was constantly on my tit. And I'm sorry, unless you're a dog or you're a parakeet. No, I'm kidding there too, guys, because obviously, even if you don't breastfeed, still
you're
amazing
still a
moms.
mom, obviously, whether you're a biological mom or not.
Adopted, fostering, love all the moms.
Raising children is very different than owning a pet. And pets are a part of the family. We both have
I was
pets.
like, I can't leave my damn child here for
8 hours.
I can't, like you can leave a cat. I can't leave my damn, child here and go away for the weekend because, that's what I would want for Mother's Day this year.
Well, our kids want a dog, and we're like, we get a dog, we can't travel without spending a fortune, like housing the dog somewhere or bringing the dog with us, which you can't bring half the places. We now don't have to relitigate the difference between animals and human beings. I feel like Darwin sort of did a decent job at that. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I did get a death threat when I shared that.
Death threat.
Because I will double down. What happens is I'll double down and I have another tweet where I'm like, fuck pet moms. Whatever. You don't need to take Mother's Day. I'm glad you have your pet mom day. I love pets. I love animals. I would really like to have one. You're really allergic to cats. We can't get one of those. Her fault. I want a dog, but we don't give them a big enough space for a nice dog. That's my fault. It's the beer pocketbook thing. But someday we will get one. And it's just I'm not disparaging people that own animals as companions.
And that are pet moms. But I will say one thing that I have learned.
I don't like the term pet mom.
Since that time is I have a friend, as you know, that fits in this category, and I have learned that there are moms who have fertility issues, and they
of course
can't be, they can't have a child or whatever. And for whatever reason, maybe they decide not to adopt or a million other things, and they don't have kids, and maybe they shift towards directing that love to their pet, which is
understandable.
And I love that there's that option, and I have a good friend who's in that situation, and I'm so glad that she found a way to have that love and stuff. She has not claimed Mother's Day.
You're not getting her a happy Mother's Day card.
I'm not. I will not be sending her flowers.
And if you did, she would be like, this is weird.
Yeah, I think she'd be like, this is why she's my friend. I'm friends with people who would be like, this is real
Moms
weird,
Day.
dude.
On National Pet Moms Day, I'm going to get you a card because you have a child.
Can I have diamonds for National Pet Moms Day?
I think it's the day before. I think it's the Saturday. I think it's this Saturday.
Well, I mean,
so
that's
to
just
all
a
the
real
pet moms,
fuck you to the real
I know, this
moms.
is the thing. The whole thing,
hell?
it's very competitive. It's very strange. Anyway.
Competitive is
I'm not,
strange,
it is competitive. People get really mad in my comments. Watch this
it's
weekend. I'll be posting some of my incendiary anti-pet mom posts, and it's gonna blow up as much as my pro-vaccination posts and my anti-Trump posts. Yeah, you will. So I got the death threat was you be careful. You don't know who I am. You and your wife don't know who I am, and neither do your little followers either. Like she was gonna attack random. I don't know.
I mean, that's like a legit death threat.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it was my mom actually. It's my mom who loves her cats like
she
children.
actually is. Yeah, well, because
she's mad that we didn't FaceTime her. Yeah,
the children are out of the house and stuff now, and
she's an empty nester.
Yeah, and she has that cat, which she loves better than her grandchildren because one is like deathly allergic, and we go there and he almost dies.
Yeah,
and the cat just like lays on
my
the
mom's
pillow
like,
of
deal with it.
The kids' room. It is a little bit like deal with it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not like I want to get rid of the cat, but maybe keep the cat off the face.
I am now realizing I need to get my mom a Mother's Day card.
So do I. That's the one thing that I think, too, as you get older and as you get married and have kids yourself, you do kind of forget a little bit about that. A little bit.
It's a real struggle for the men because we have to get our wives' Mother's Day cards because if you don't, then you get yelled at. And then you have to get your mom's Mother's Day cards because if you don't, you feel like a shitty person.
Well, KSU Julie, one of our gals out there, she has a tweet about, it's basically saying how husbands will ask their wife, what did you get my mom for Mother's Day? Which you would never do. Like, you wouldn't ask me. Like, sometimes I might be like for your mom's birthday, which was a big one this year, we couldn't be there. I was like, oh, let's order flowers. And I might have that idea or something, but you've never expected me to get gifts and stuff, which I think she makes another joke about having to get gifts for his family. Yeah. You'll be shocked to know that she's now divorced.
I think she was one of the...
She doesn't have to worry about his Mother's Day anymore.
In our initial Mother's Day episode a couple years ago, her husband had said to her, why would I get you a gift? You're not my mom. You know what?
Julie is
yada, yada, yada. They're now single. Anyway, so that's our Mother's Day episode. I have a lot of work to do over the next couple of days.
You gotta wrap it up. I was like, is there anything else we should talk about? I don't want to end the Mom and Buried show.
You know what? You can come back anytime, honey.
Thanks, babe. You know what? I think you do pretty good at Mother's Day. There's usually little things, and the kids are maniacs. And
don't count your chickens. This is a couple of days until this one.
The thing with Mother's Day is, like, we're not the family who, like, I don't expect diamonds for Mother's Day. Anniversary and my birthday, so you're really backlogged on the diamonds and the trips to Europe.
The amount of gifts I'm responsible for is really...
But as you know, it's doing things that I care about the most. It's the experiences. What?
That's how we got to Mother's Day in the first place, guys. And with that, I'll remind everybody you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. Please like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify and everywhere else. Leave a review if you want. Go to the shop.spreadshirt.com, Dad and Barry, to get a DILF mug.
Yeah.
The mom in your life is dying for a DILF mug.
How about...
And I'm on TikTok. Today I finally broke my TikTok only chapstick application policy.
Yes, which I suggested.
You did, but I don't know. Genius. I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok. So if anybody, I don't dance. Dances. I don't do skits. So if anybody has any suggestions, hit me up.
Rants. It's clearly your thing.
Do people want rants on TikTok? We'll see. Maybe
I'll
try a couple. Maybe I'll rant about Mother's Day.
Well, I think we should probably sign off saying a huge Happy Mother's Day
to all the moms,
motherfucking moms out there,
and wives
who kill it, especially after this last year and a half. I mean, you are killing it.
And all the single dads who are moms as well, and the two dads, all of them, everybody out there, equal opportunity Mother's Day, except for pet moms.
Okay,
so we don't
shut it. We're done with you. Okay, and also to the people, if you get a trash can, know that you deserve so much more, but the love and the admiration from your children, I'm sure,
covers it. If you get a trash can, you shouldn't have married a trash can.
Oh, gosh.
We'll catch you next week.
Bye. Happy Mother's Day.
I don't know why you would still be watching This Isn't a Marvel Movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there in the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube, subscribe, hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money, all the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.